real, recognize real, granddad. You looking real unfamiliar. Alright. Yes. Alright, so today we're gonna be talking about. Damn, I should close this fucking window. These niggas driving by. Alright, so trying to see if I can kick back and do this shit. Nigga got me a little. Alright, so today we're gonna be talking about the planes of existence. This is basically going to try to explain all that can be. That should sound like what the fuck you talking about? This is trying to explain all the planes of existence. I'm gonna be coming from several books. Hold on, let me adjust this shit because we finna go in. Hold on. Yes, I'm finna be coming from several books. We gotta come with the scholarship. Otherwise, I'm just up here talking crazy and don't nobody want to hear that shit. All right, so what I'm gonna try to do as we go through this shit, I'm gonna just try to I'm gonna just go through the books and shit. Like as we go through this shit, like I'm finna be talking that shit through all these different books. So this ain't my ideas. This ain't. I ain't making this shit up. All that fucking is. Today we talk about the realms of fucking existence. Alright, so what spurred this shit on, what spurred this shit on, I was just talking with one of the homies and I was like, damn, I don't even know if this like some commonly known shit. But I thought this was interesting. I was like, well, shit, let me put this shit out. Because I don't think I ever really seen nobody really talk about this shit. Just in like a little bit more kind of, in an explained way. And this is something I see it in these books. And it's interesting to me. But I never really see nobody explain this shit out, I don't think. But I see it all in these books. So we're going to talk about the fucking realms of fucking existence. All right, so let me see, where should we start at? Let's start with what's the best way to do that? Should I start with a book? And go through this shit? I think that's how I want to do this. We're going to start it like this. I think that's how I want to do this shit. We're going to start with a book and we're going to go through and we're going to talk about different perspectives of these fucking planes from different people, I guess you could say. So the first suspect number one, Agrippa, Henry Cornelius Agrippa. I got 3 books of occult philosophy. It's a big ass book. Three books of occult philosophy, the foundation book of Western occultism. Agrippa's supposed to be this German dude. I think he was born in, what year was he born? 14 something. Hold on, let me see. It's in here. It's a big ass book. It's somewhere in here where you can read about him. But anyway, I think he was born in like 1490 something. Okay, here we go. Okay, I knew it was up in this video. Okay, so Agrippa is born here. Henricus Cornelius Agrippa von Nettisham. Look like Nettisham was born on September 14th, 1486. So we talking about some motherfuckers who's born around the time when fucking Moors is probably less than 100 years from fucking Moors leaving up out of that bitch, who was fucking responsible for the fucking whole Renaissance, European Renaissance and all that kind of shit coming up through there. Because all that new fucking occult information coming through that bitch. So Agrippa, it comes from this time. So we talking what you would call, I guess you'd call this, what would you call this? Early occult information. Agrippa has this first chapter. It starts off saying, seeing there's a threefold world: elementary, celestial, and intellectual. So he's saying there's a threefold world. He's basically saying you got elementary, which is the elements, it'd be earth, celestial, which would be, stars, and then you have intellectual. He doesn't make no, and I kind of noted this. He says intellectual, but he doesn't make note of a spiritual realm. This is early occult, so this is Agrippa. Now keep in mind he's born in what was it, 1486 or some shit, and most of his works is in the 1500s. Most of his works, when you reading through this shit, it's all from the 15 things like from the 1520s and 1530s and 20s and shit. So that's what we talking about. Early, this kind of like the mindset maybe of an early occultist. Now as you go through, let's say I wanted to pull up, what's the next one I wanted to pull up? Oh, let me pull up this, we're going to talk about this Kabbalion. The Kabbalion talks about these fucking planes of existence. I'm just calling it the planes of existence because I'm just saying that this is all supposedly that can fucking be. They got a chapter in the Kabbalion called The Planes of Correspondence. And basically what they saying in so many words that these planes correspond with each other. They're not just independent, but they kind of correspond in the sense of as above, so below. I don't know if you ever got into the Kabbalion, but I'll cover that shit later. This a book I could just cover on its own fucking shit. But this book contains shit like this is basically Hermetic philosophy. This book contains the laws of Tahuti and or the laws of Thoth, whatever you want to call them. Fucking in this book they calling them Hermes, because it's WP. So they like to start all their history kind of at Greece and all that kind of stuff. So they would prefer, probably usually have more of affinity towards someone like Hermes versus like Tahuti or Thoth or some old shit like that. Some people like it, but I think a majority of what I see online, most people seem to have an affinity more towards like a character like Hermes. And in this book, it is noted, to Hermes Trismegistus, known by the ancient Egyptians as the great and master of masters, this little volume of Hermetic teaching is reverently dedicated. So that's how this book starts. That's one of the first pages in this book. They the same niggas. So this is Hermes, is Thoth, is Tahuti, is fucking Trice Great, is fucking Master of Masters, is fucking all the same fucking nigga. Hermes. Okay, so and in this book, the Kabbalion states that there's three planes. It says there's a great physical plane, a great mental plane, and a great spiritual plane. Now I want to notate. Now I got all this kind of notated already because I'm kind of I was freestyling a lot of these shits. So I was like, maybe I should fucking make a note or two, just for quick fucking reference for motherfuckers. So I'm realizing that like this could maybe be a little more helpful in a fucking for quick reference. So the Kabbalion it notates the physical plane, a mental plane, and a spiritual plane, but it makes no note of an astral plane. So we just calling out the differences in this shit. You see that shit? Okay. So we got a physical plane, a mental plane, and a spiritual plane in the Kabbalion. But it don't talk about no fucking astral. Okay, so we just making note of some shit. Okay. Making some fucking notes. Okay. Making some fucking notes. Okay, the next fucking victim. Nah, they're not really victims. I'm fucking around. The next person, Diane Fortune. This bitch is fire. I don't know if y'all ain't never heard of Diane Fortune, get y'all hands on a little. I'm sorry. Why I call this bitch Diane Fortune? Dion Fortune. Get y'all hands on little Dion Fortune. Dion got some fire shit. Dion, just the way she kind of be breaking shit down be interesting to me. She be going in. The bitch be going in. It'd be different if that bitch be going in. She be killing some shit. I got a couple of her books. I just got I think I just got Mystical Kabbalah from her. I'm trying to get into this Kabbalah shit. Ain't really my shit, but I'm just trying to graze into it just for the fucking sake of fucking. I don't know why I'm not interested in that shit. I'm forcing myself to read that shit. I don't even want to. But I picked up some Diane Fortune. She got the Mystical Kabbalah. Everybody say it's hot. But I was fucking with these other she got some other smaller little books. I fuck with. We're gonna be using a couple of these. She got Aspects of Occultism, where she do a little breakdown. Then she got the Esoteric Philosophy of Love and Marriage, where she kind of do a breakdown on the planes also. So I'm gonna use both of these, and we're gonna see what she say. So if you go into Aspects of Occultism, she got a chapter on the astral plane, and in this shit, she say it's a physical, it's an astral, it's a mental, and a spiritual. Spiritual being the highest plane. So she goes through all 4 of the planes. She say it's 4 planes. So see how the other 2 books was leaving out shit? I like, okay, that's interesting. The other motherfuckers leaving out shit. She say it's all of them there. She say it's in this order too. She says physical, astral, mental, and then spiritual. What's interesting to me, and I think this is kind of what's fire about her. It's just interesting how she put a little note off to the side. And she say, one is form and one is force. That's real interesting, man. I'm gonna cover which one is which as we go along. Also, she got in this other book. She now the Kabbalion says these 3 planes, and the Kabbalion is talking about the 3 planes: the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. It's saying these 3 planes can be broken down into 7 subplanes. So it's saying like the physical plane gets broken down into 7 subplanes. She's saying, Dion Fortune saying, those 3 planes, the 3 planes that the Kabbalion talking about, and the 3 planes we've been talking about, and the 4 planes, she actually break the 4 planes, 3 and the 4. She says actually you could really look at those planes, the 3 and 4, as actually 7 planes. And so she's saying there's a physical plane. Let me see. No, let me give you exactly how she described this shit. Let me give you exactly how she described this shit. She say it's a I'm just giving you some quick rough. We just getting some quick rough understandings real quick. So I just want you to get this shit real quick. This shit's kind of far home. Where this shit at down? Thought I had a bookmark on this shit. I ain't got no bookmark on this shit. All right, so starting from the physical plane. She says first the physical plane, then the second plane is the lower astral plane or psychic plane. Say the third plane or upper astral plane. Then she said the fourth plane, the lower mental or plane of concrete mind. She says the fifth plane, the upper mental or plane of abstract mind. She goes on to say the sixth plane, the lower spiritual or plane of concrete spirit. And seventh being the highest plane, known as the upper spiritual plane or plane of pure spirit, plane of abstract spirit. And so that's how she breaks these down. That's interesting. The Kabbalion kind of talks about like nobody can really know some of these higher spiritual planes like shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like it'd be above the mental plane. So technically it'd be above your mental kind of thing. But I guess it's trying to these are attempts to try to maybe even understand that shit through correspondence. That's why his chapter was called The Law of Correspondence, which had these fucking 3 planes in there in the first fucking place. Because you're trying to use correspondence to even understand some of that shit. So let's start on the physical plane. And if you know anything about the Kabbalah, I'm just going to say, actually, hold on. This for my fucking beat makers. If you make beats, you gonna understand this shit. If you work in music, you work in music production, you do anything with that kind of sort of shit, you gonna understand this shit. The concept is that if you understand ASRD, attack, sustain, release, decay, this is probably used on most synthesizers or most kind of electronic instruments kind of have these kind of settings. Some don't have, some have all, some don't, some just maybe have a decay setting, some might have, you know, just depending on what piece of equipment. But most synthesizers, if you was in fucking Fruity Loops or some shit like that, you gonna get this shit. If you play with Fruity Loops, you gonna get this shit. If you was on Reason or Logic or Pro Tools or whatever the fuck, you gonna get this shit. So basically, you got attack, sustain, release, decay. And I think the concept, they a lot of times they say this concept is that things seem to flow down through these realms, coming from a spiritual. A lot of this shit I be reading, be talking about spirit. I'm gonna explain each one, but talk about a flowing down through these realms from spiritual, maybe down to mental, down to astral, and then down into physical. What's interesting, it's almost like spiritual seems to be the initial attack. Something seems to, maybe you could say it is sustained in the mental. It's released in the astral and it decays in the physical. Almost to say this physical shit is the lowest. That's why it's the lowest shit ever, because it's the decay. Once it's made it down this fucking far, it is like literally almost decay. It's almost like the fucking it's at its lowest vibration. If spiritual is supposed to be high vibration, and then you kind of come down, and this physical shit is lower and lower in vibration, as you get. We're gonna talk about it because we're gonna talk about going up. So just think of this physical shit as the lowest form of vibration. They say I heard something once. I remember we was in school. They got this concept of we was learning physics. I think this is a physics class, and they like to say shit like something doesn't gain cold. Something doesn't gain cold. We talking about the physical. We talking about low vibration right now. We're gonna talk about the lowest fucking states of fucking matter. Low vibration. Talking about cold in physics, and they was saying how something doesn't gain cold. It's just losing kinetic energy. It doesn't gain cold. You can't. It's not becoming true. We say something's getting cold, but truly, it's lost its kinetic energy. So even this fucking physical matter, if you look at it close enough, it's still got a kinetic energy because all the fucking atoms are held together and all that kind of shit. So and they're fucking moving and all that kind of shit. So this would be think of the little what's that little Jimmy Neutron logo they use for? I was an electronics technician in the military, and they use a little Jimmy Neutron fucking what they call that shit? They use a little fucking Jimmy Neutron fucking what you call that shit? It's like a nuclear symbol. It's like the electrons going around the fucking nucleus and shit. I forgot what you call the symbol, but it's basically the little nuclear Jimmy Neutron symbol, whatever. It's that sort of thing. So we talking about that physical. So okay, so going into this physical shit, let's say we talking about material, matter, atoms, electrons, protons, neutrons, anything that is a corporeal. Like I say, Agrippa would call it elementary or elementary. Anything that's material, solids, and let's say as you go up, let's say, and this is like as Dion Fortune was calling it, she said this would be the form. anything physical. This would be the form. You start at like matter. It starts off as solids. The most maybe as you go up in vibration, as you go up in vibration, these things seem to maybe go up the scale of seem to go up this scale of existence. I guess you can call it this scale of vibration, if you will. If you coming out the Kabbalion, they would maybe call this a fucking scale of vibration going from physical all the way up to spiritual. That'd be going all the way from low vibration all the way up to high vibration. So we talking about physical right now, form, going from solids, liquids to gases, and these things become lighter and less dense and less opaque and more see-through. As you go up, you go into things like the ether. Supposedly this ether that even the fucking atoms sit in, because you got to start to think the atoms is sitting in some shit. You don't just get to say, well, everything everywhere is fucking gas, and then okay, well, what's the gas made of? Fucking electrons, neutrons. So what the fucking electrons, neutrons, and all that shit sitting in? And so that's sitting in a fucking ether or some type of wave of some type of sea. That's what they calling it, an ether. It's almost like a sea of fucking waves or something. It's some sort of waves, but it's not the particles themselves. It's the thing that carries the particles themselves. This is the waves. Sound would be a form of this wave. It's not, sound isn't the actual particle. I fucking worked on fucking sound for a fucking long time. And I noticed you don't really have, I'd have went to fucking prison a long fucking time ago for trapping sounds in a fucking box. These things you can't even fucking hold. Everybody got a phone full of them. These things you can't even fucking hold, but it's just a transfer of fucking waves. That's all this sound is. And I'm a manipulator of that shit. A manipulator of fucking waves. So fucking all that shit is the fucking waves. So you go up even higher, you talking about shit like RF and energy, light, heat, magnetism, shit like this. It don't got no fucking mass. Stuff like RF don't got no mass. Radio frequencies don't have mass. They just have acceleration. Does that make sense? You got something that's fucking moving around, that's carrying information that don't even got no fucking mass. That's how fucking fiber optics work. Carrying information in some shit that don't even got no fucking mass. Well, I guess technically light is a fucking particle, but sound don't even got no fucking, sound just moves the fucking particles. It's moving the fucking particles, but it really don't got no fucking mass. It's a fucking wave. So that's what we fucking talking about, the fucking waves and shit. And as you go up, you get into these things like heat. Think about heat. These are things that have no mass. Heat. How you can't have a cup of fucking radio frequencies. You can't have a cup of fucking heat. This is some shit you can't hold. It goes through shit. It is physical. Antennas are physical. You need a physical antenna. The shit is real. It's physical. That's what we're talking about, right? Form, material, matter, atoms and electrons and neutrons, corporeals, shits that's elementary and shit. Going up this scale, solids, liquids, and gases, you get to the fucking ether and shit changes. Then it says you go up into this, and this is kind of coming from the Kabbalion and shit. It starts to go up into magnetism, electricity, attraction and gravitation, cohesion, and all this other shit I don't even fucking understand, because I don't get physics that fucking advanced. I don't know what all that shit is. fucking cohesion and fucking all that extra shit. But yeah, so that's that type of shit. I thought this was interesting too. Terrence Howard been talking that shit. Terrence Howard been talking some crazy shit lately. Been talking that shit. Ah, yes, the shit. Then nigga said I found a whole stack of them in the alley. Okay, Terrence Howard be over here talking about, I heard him say some shit that was interesting to me. He say magnetic got to do with the macro and electronic got to do with the micro. And I thought that was interesting because we use electronic shit for micro scopic shit. We use that's interesting. We use all the shit that's microscopic. The smallest technologies right now are built for electricity. The smallest technologies are built for electricity, electronic and shit. I'm thinking, and then it start to make me think, okay, well, if all that small shit is for electricity, what might this big shit be for? And it made me start thinking about a goddamn pyramid, and maybe that shit got to do with fucking magnetism. And I know they like to say it's electricity, but maybe that's to keep your ass away from thinking about magnets in that. But bitch got a whole sarcophagus size block that's missing out of that bitch. Maybe it's supposed to be a giant fucking magnet sitting in that bitch, sitting in some fucking liquids or something, for all I fucking know. It's sitting off the Nile. Maybe it's got water, some kind of conductive magnetic shit, and it's supposed to do some shit. It's missing the fucking coating or some shit. Maybe it's fucking up its magneticness or whatever. I don't know fucking know. It was magnetically aligned. It was sitting on fucking a grid line, and it's magnetically aligned to the north, so it's gotta have, maybe it's got something to do with some fucking magnetism more than some electricity. They like to keep pushing this electricity shit. Oh, they had electric, maybe it was magnetism they was fucking with. This the other thing. Okay, I know this gonna sound crazy, and if y'all niggas, if you a physics nigga, fuck with me. So let me know if I'm fucking crazy. But peep this shit. They got this shit called electromagnetism. We basically use electricity to produce magnetism. Think of like rail lines, or think of shit like, well, we use electricity. I'm trying to think of motors and shit. I think that's a form of electromagnetism. We're using electricity, running it through all these fucking coils and shit. And I think they use like magnetism basically to kind of, and that's kind of how that shit is working. But they got this shit where I was sitting there thinking, I was like, couldn't they just use magnets to make electricity? Why we using fucking electricity to fucking run some magnets? Why don't they take some magnets? Because magnets don't need no fuck. They just sit there. So fucking why don't we take some fucking magnets and make electricity off of that shit? But that'll be somebody else's fucking project. I don't even know if that shit possible, but I was just thinking about the shit. Made me fucking think. Terrence Howard had me on some shit. Listen to Terrence Howard had your ass fucking. He like, nigga, what is fucking possible? This nigga talking about he got all these patents and shit going. But hey, look, Terrence, if y'all nigga hire a nigga, look, if y'all doing some shit like that, look, I got the background, hit a nigga up. RF, we're gonna continue. RF, basically I was saying like how RF cell phone signals and all that kind of shit, it has no mass, but it has acceleration. And that's some real interesting shit. Things that have no mass, yet they have acceleration. Things with no mass, yet they have acceleration. This would be things like your RF signal has no mass. It's not a particle that shoots out of your cell phone. Your cell phone, it's not a particle gun. It has an antenna. And the antenna moves the waves. And those waves move along. And your cell phone, your cell phone receives it on its antenna. And blah, 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 and thus, or it hits the cell phone tower and that antenna vibrates. And thus you have communication and all that kind of shit. So, going up this scale, so all the physical shit, this is supposed to be form. Going up this scale, you run into this realm or plane of the astral. When you think of astral, think of first word that comes to me is astrology, and the celestial bodies and all that kind of shit. You start to think of Agrippa, his plane, he called it the celestial plane. So I would have to imagine this kind of correlates with the astral plane, the astrology plane, if you will, the stars, plane of the stars. You get concepts like from the astral plane, you get concepts like astral light. Astral, I looked up the definition. It was saying it was relating to or suggesting heaven or divinity. Now, Dion Fortune, she would say this would be a plane of force. She noted this as a plane of force. I can't remember, what did I write? I wrote trying to think where she also notes in the other book that this is the plane of instincts, passions, emotions, and that sort of thing. I was looking in this. I got a book called Astral Travel by Gavin and Yvonne Frost. This is some old shit, I think, from the 80s. When is this? How old is this book? I found this bitch in a Hollywood. This bitch from 1986. I found this bitch in a used Hollywood bookstore, and it's interesting because it's kind of talking about how all these different cultures kind of notate or make acknowledgments of this astral plane. She talks about the Mayan cultures, Celtic, Asian cultures, Norse cultures. She talks about Africans. And I really want to say this. This is some interesting shit to me. So I'm watching this fucking movie Stargate, right? Stargate, this movie about these motherfuckers. They over in Egypt or some shit. I'm thinking I can't remember if it's before fucking war, maybe after World War I or some shit. It's one of them fucking times, like early 1908 or 1920s or some shit. They over there digging up some shit in Egypt, robbing their ass. Over there robbing they fucking ass, and fucking the next thing they know, they find this big gate. I think they find it in the 20s or some shit, like big ass Stargate or some shit. And it's basically, they call this shit a Stargate. So this is what's interesting. I think they think of it as a little on the movie and in the show. I think they call this a literal Stargate that you gonna walk through. But if you go over, and I think even in you can see this sort of shit even in the fucking British Museum. They have examples of these Egyptian doors. They're stone doors. They don't open. They just walk in this shit. So I think this is this concept of you calling this a Stargate. This is an astral gate. Literally, a Stargate is an astral gate. Imagine that, an astral gate. This is I think this is the same concept of like what you were seeing on fucking Beetlejuice, where they took that shit, drew that chalk on the fucking wall, and the wall fucking opened up. It's another fucking movie where the fucking girl, what's the movie? Coraline, where the fucking she opened up the little door and it's concrete. But it's a fucking, in her dream, it's an astral door. I keep seeing this shit over and over. You can see this shit in these movies. So that's in Caroline, it's fucking Stargate, and fucking shit like that. So even in fucking what's the movie? I think Pan's Labyrinth got the same shit. Little doors that go off to these. I think these astral concepts. These astral doors and shit like that. But just the astral shit, she's saying this is supposed to be a realm of force. So that's interesting. So just keep that in mind when you think of Stargates. Maybe that bitch is a fucking astral fucking gate. The celestial, you write it, the celestial gate. You fucking right, it's a Stargate. Fucking astral gate. You fucking right. Fucking okay. Now, as you go up even further, you got this mental realm. You got this fucking mental realm. Now, I think the mental realm, in the Kabbalion, they call it the mental realm. Agrippa might be calling this the intellectual realm. And this is the realm of mind or thought, memory. Now, Dion Fortune calls this shit a plane of form. And I thought that's interesting because things, and then you start to think like things do take shape in the mind. Things in our mind, or something in your mind, can take shape. They got stuff like they call it thought forms, shit like that. Think about that. You got shit like thought forms. Basically, you form something in your mind, your mind's eye or whatever that might be. You form shit in your mind. You can see it there, and these are forms. They call this Agrippa. Yeah, I guess he was calling this the intellectual plane. The Kabbalion calls this that's interesting. It calls this maybe the plane. The plane is talking about souls. Maybe souls reside here. The plane of souls. I thought that's interesting. If you look up soul, I believe you get stuff like psyche. But I want to let's see because I kind of want to look that shit up. Hold on. It's just saying that because psyche is the mind. So we talking about the mental realm right now. Okay, we done made it up. We up 3 levels now. We going all the way up. And we talking about. I'm looking up soul. This is again. I got these big ass dictionaries. These New Shorter Oxford dictionaries. I'm first soul. First definition: the principle of life in humans or animals. Animate existence. Number 2, the principle of thought and action in a person, regarded as an entity distinct from the body. A person's spiritual as opposed to corporeal nature. So you're getting those kind of definitions. 3, the spiritual part of a human being considered in its moral aspect or in relation to God and his prospects in regard to immortality. Blah, blah, blah. Definition number 4, the seat of the emotions or sentiments, the emotional part of human nature, intellectual or spiritual power, high development of the mental faculties. This keeps pulling from, so it's talking about the mind a lot. Okay, if you look up a word like psyche, the first definition is the soul, the spirit, formerly also rare, the animating principle of the universe. This is coming from the New Shorter Oxford English Dictionary. That's psyche. So just so you can see how psyche is the soul, is the mind. So psyche is the soul, is the mind. I think even Greek mythology, Psyche fell in love with Eros, which is a love god or some shit like that. So think about that shit. So you got like it says in the Kabbalion, this might be, these entities may be called souls in one sense and are living beings in a low degree of development, life, and mind. It's talking about things in mineral bodies. These entities may be called souls in one sense because they have mind. That's what he's trying to talk about. He was talking about the mental plane. He's talking about even minerals have mind. So that's interesting. What they're talking about in that shit. This could be so the mental plane. This could be psyche, soul, same shit. Mental. Dion Fortune calls this the breakdown of the monadic essence. Monadic essence. I guess she's talking about from the spiritual realm, where she says above this mental realm, there's a spiritual realm where things are unified. There's this unified aspect. So just keep in mind, the mental is form, the spiritual is force. And let's go into the spiritual. So this is be the high side of vibration, of the scale of vibration, if you will. This would be on the high side. We're talking about spiritual now. And spiritual, she claims Dion Fortune calls this a force. I thought it was interesting. I seen spiritual, and I was like, damn, you can't even say spiritual without saying ritual. Spiritual, like, whatever. Okay, above this is it's supposed to be, so the spiritual realm is supposed to be maybe out of our comprehension because it's above the mental plane. It should be above our mind, above our understanding. But the Kabbalion talks about this is a plane of angels, archangels, and demigods. The Kabbalion also goes on to call this plane of spirit or living power, inner essence, animating principle. And again here, like Dion Fortune calls everything up here basically unified. And they say, Kabbalion is like, look, it ain't much we could really say about this shit. Cause who the fuck gonna really talk about this shit like they fucking, like what you gonna really talk about? For real. For real, that don't sound like some bullshit probably. First phase of manifestation. And see, this is what I say, this attack, sustain, release, decay. This is coming from Dion Fortune. She called it the first phase of manifestation. Motherfuckers be trying to manifest shit down here in this physical shit. Shit ain't flowing up. Shit flowing down. So that's interesting. So if this is the first phase of manifestation, I've always heard this as an outpouring. I've seen this in other shit. Is just like this source of shit, so to speak. I think Dion Fortune also calls it. She says one is all and all is one, or some shit up here. Basically saying everything is unified. So like the souls being up in this state, I guess being unified, like they're not longing for shit. Everything's unified. This is that state of hermaphrodite. I'm sorry. This that state of hermaphrodite where the forces are unified. And you'd have to be unified to even get up this fucking far. This is a place, I believe, of what I like to call maybe even synthesis. Think of like the purple chakra is purple. But to even make fucking purple using primary colors, you got to combine red and blue to even hit purple. So you got to combine the lowest color with the highest fucking color as far as primary colors just to even fucking get this new high color. To go above blue, you got to use something lower than blue to get above that bitch. See what I'm saying? And this is the synthesis. So these are the fucking planes of existence. You got the spiritual, mental, astral, and physical. Now, what Dion Fortune says, this is interesting. Now, I wanted to tell you about the form, the force, the form, and the force. So you got spiritual is a force, mental is a form, astral is a force, and physical is a form. And so she says that this force imprints on the form. Does that make sense? She says this force imprints on the form. So basically saying the spiritual realm will imprint on the mental realm. The astral realm can imprint on the mental and the physical realm, and according to Dion Fortune, because she's saying that. But she's also trying to say, I think it's in pairs too, like really saying the astral realm kind of imprints on the physical realm, the spiritual realm imprints on the mental realm. Almost sounds like it's a domino effect. Like you got this down-flowing domino effect. I'm not sure though. I mean, if this is truly a down-flowing domino effect, then there have to be some kind of form imprinting on the force too. So maybe that shit can flow up. If it's flowing down, it can flow up, huh? As above, so below. Shit, that's what they say. Fuck, shit. Ain't that what the fuck they saying? As above, so below. So maybe that's how this fucking magic shit. Somebody. It's almost like somebody. Now you can hold a cord. Two people can hold a cord, and you wiggle. One person can wiggle that bitch on one end, and the wave will travel up that cord, and go. Now by the time it hit the person way down at the other end, it's way weaker. But they felt it. It's weaker. That wave it'll take a little while. The wave will be weaker, but it'll make its way down there. And maybe this is what happens when spirit kind of imprints on mental, and mental imprints on astral, and astral imprints on physical. But maybe somebody trying to work some magic or some shit like that is trying to. I'm not sure what they mental place is, but I imagine they trying to send that energy back up some kind of way to get what they want, I guess, or or to try to bring that shit down. But if you bring, I'm not sure why all this fucking physical shit trying to bring some shit down in the spiritual, but I guess it's close to a mental thing. It's probably you trying to fake the player hate in the background. You trying to help the belief so the shit can fucking be real in the first fucking place and all that shit. Maybe it's for your own fucking belief. So it's that kind of shit. Yeah, so these are the fucking planes. I just wanted to fucking talk about this shit. I thought it was interesting. I never really heard nobody talk about the shit. Nobody really seemed to do a full breakdown on this shit. But these are the fucking planes: spiritual, mental, astral, and physical. I think they trying to say shit flows down, as in spiritual being the first phase of manifestation. I imagine mental being the second, astral being the third, and physical being the fourth, is what she was trying to say. Dion Fortune is what she was trying to say. Yeah, so that's basically this shit. I just wanted to, some of the books I'm coming from, I'll give y'all some bibliography. The Gripper book I was coming from was, this is 3 books of occult philosophy, the foundation books of Western occultism, written by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Netisham, I think that's how you pronounce that. And this is edited and annotated by Donald Tyson. Also was coming from the Kabbalion Hermetic philosophy. This is written by the 3 initiates. This one got the little intro by what's this dude's name? What's the dude who got the little intro on this shit? Because it probably got a little bit of his sauce on it. Richard Smoley. I don't know if he did some of the other parts of this. Yeah, I think he probably did some more of this other shit. So it's kind of maybe got some of his sauce on that. Aspects of Occultism by Dion Fortune, and the Esoteric Philosophy of Love and Marriage. I also got some information from Astral Travel. This is from Gavin and Yvonne Frost. Oh, and also the Hermetica. Hermetica talks about, and I thought this was interesting too. Now peep this. The Hermetica, I'm coming from the Brian P. Copenhaver. There's a section in here. See, the Hermetica be talking crazy. It say shit like this. The matter composed of the finest particles is air, but air is soul. Soul is mind, and mind is God. See, that's how it be talking. Listen to this shit. We be talking crazy. Hermetica be talking all kind of crazy shit. Thus, the finest matter is air. The finest air is soul. The finest soul is mind, and the finest mind is God. And God surrounds everything and permeates everything, while mind surrounds soul. Soul surrounds air, and air surrounds matter. That's how this shit be talking. You be like, what the fuck? So that's how this shit. I was like, I ain't never heard ain't nobody ever came with no shit like that. And all this be old shit I be reading. I'm like, oh, this Hermetica be coming with that shit. Okay, just so you can get this shit one more time. It say, thus the finest matter is air. And if you break that shit down, the finest air is soul. And if you break that shit down, the finest soul is mind. And if you break that shit down, the finest mind is God. And God surrounds everything and permeates everything because it is at the smallest state. I'm talking about fineness, getting smaller and smaller, and breakdowns on top of breakdowns on top of breakdowns. And it's saying this surrounds everything and goes through everything because it's at the smallest state. That's what I'm catching from this shit. Some shit that has been broken down to its smallest state of existence. So while mind surrounds soul, soul surrounds air, and air surrounds matter. And it kind of builds it back up, just kind of go back the other way. But that's interesting though. So it's basically trying to describe to you the thing that's in everything. That sound like Amen. And Amen is the, damn, y'all gonna make me pull out more books. I ain't even finna go there. Amen, the soul in all things and all that kind of shit. Amen. I'm like, amen to that shit. All right, so we gonna end there. And fucking yeah, that's what we was talking about. The fucking planes of existence. It only sound like it's fucking 4 of them. This is all it can fucking be. I wonder where the fucking gods exist. I'll let you fucking figure that one out. That's why I said this shit in the first place. You say, real recognize real, granddad. You looking real unfamiliar. Just one more. This is the last thing I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna leave you with this. This could probably be talking that crazy shit. You always be talking that crazy shit. Real recognize real, granddad. And you looking real unfamiliar. It say, thus, unless you make yourself equal to God, you cannot understand God. Like is understood by like. Just let that shit marinate. Real recognize real, granddad, and you looking real unfamiliar. And it was like, can I help you, sir?